you very much. And it's been so interesting to listen to the previous presentations. I think we'll cover some of the same grounds and similar learning, but also some differences in perspective as well. So thanks very much for the opportunity to be a part of the conversation. So we are a charity called Speakers for Schools. We started off originally incubated by another organisation called the Education Employers Task Force, and then became our own independent organisation. Started with a talks programme, so an inspirational talks programme, bringing senior people from across business, politics, entertainment and sport in to speak to young people, particularly in deprived communities. And then really at the beginning of the pandemic, so we had a small experience programme pre-pandemic, but at the beginning of the pandemic, it became really clear that young people were at risk of missing out on work experience opportunities because we were in lockdown, and most of those opportunities were happening in person. So it was already in the kind of the 3-year plan of the charity to introduce virtual work experience. Some of the reasons that have been spoken about already in terms of more young people having access to a wider range of opportunities that might be physically available in their own local community. But we were able to very much bring that forward and to offer some of those opportunities quite shortly into the pandemic. And then in the last academic year, we were able to offer 60,000 virtual work experience placements for young people in the UK. We're building on that, so the Youth Card app is all about making as many opportunities as possible from both Speakers for Schools and other organisations. So working with Young Enterprise and Youth UK, who offer different youth services across the UK, and Youth Card is an app which will make the widest possible range of opportunities, from work experience to youth clubs to enterprise opportunities to volunteering, all available in one place to young people. But what we'll focus on today is the experience programme specifically. So you can see the scaling up over the last period, and we continue to have significant ambitions to scale further as well. And we're working with a really wide range of UK employers. So originally, maybe some of the mostly bigger, more well-known companies were a part of the programme, but increasingly as we scale as an organisation, so we're now a team of around 100 people across the UK, we're able to work directly with more schools and with more businesses directly to support them to offer placements and opportunities for young people. So we wanted to, I feel a bit like I'm preaching to the converted, so I'll go through this very quickly, but we wanted to demonstrate that work experience really is of use and value to young people. So we did some polling where we asked young people, so this polling was done last May, June, what was most helpful to them in thinking about improving their confidence, because confidence is really well evidenced as such an important aspect of having confidence, having the sense of self-efficacy, belief in your own future, confidence that you can, make your own future and that you can find out information that will help you to get there. So confidence felt really key, and internships and work experience in a relevant field were the most prioritised kind of intervention that young people chose. Obviously, being able to get a part-time job, interview practice, careers advice, all these things are hugely important, but work experience came out really powerfully. And when we asked them what they saw as a barrier to success, so I thought a lack of jobs in my local area would be, or a lack of entry-level jobs would come through more strongly, but actually not being able to get relevant work experience was the single biggest barrier that these young people between the ages of 11 and 18 were worried about. So the mandate for work experience, I think, comes through really powerfully. We then wanted to make sure that we were clear what young people wanted from their work experience, and particularly in the UK, there's lots of evidence from business as to what they want young people to be prepared for. There's great research, out there that's very available, and we have clear government policy as well in terms of what the government's expectations are. But we felt like there wasn't enough there about what young people themselves expected to get from their work experience. So obviously the sector is important. the ability to learn about different roles, knowledge of the business, chance to connect existing learning. Also, as part of this research, we did some semi-structured interviews with young people, and they really reflected on the importance of hearing from business leaders, especially post this time of pandemic, that, you know, even though their exams won't be quite the same as, you know, their qualifications won't be taken on the same conditions as other cohorts, you know, even there's a real sense that they're really worried and nervous that their experience and their education won't be valued as much as others because of lockdown and pandemic. So they really needed to hear from business leaders that they were valued and wanted, but they also really value hearing from role models and people they can relate to about what it's like to be in the organisation. This is a very basic summary of our kind of model, what you should expect to see. So the things that we need to make sure happen in a work experience placement. So pre-visit preparation, reflection afterwards, support from the school leadership for the careers programme as a whole, for work experience to be integrated into a careers programme, for it to be interactive, personalised. Ideally multiple experiences are more powerful, to challenge stereotypes and to interact with people with different experiences to share. So that's a very bold summary of much of the evidence that people will be very, very familiar with. Some immediate outcomes that we hope to see from undertaking work experience placements around increase, that we should expect young people to be reporting that they have greater insights into jobs and careers, they're motivated to find out more about potential careers, and that they're aware of and have the opportunity to practice essential skills. And then there's some real gold dust in the third column there in terms of the kind of the long-term outcomes that you'd expect to see from a successful careers programme that has work experience as a part of it. So if that's our very basic kind of model of what we expect to be able to see, then to what extent have we been able to prove that through our virtual work experience programme during the pandemic? And that's really the kind of the question that will hopefully give you some answers to. So what do you expect to be able to see from a good virtual work experience placement? They can be interactive, sessions are live, young people can chat and ask, you know, brief questions at the time, as well as more formal Q&A sessions, which keeps engagement high. We offer experiences across the calendar year, different times of day, different times of the week, so they can choose the ones that fit. And it's really important to be accessible. So our technology, we use Google Classrooms, and we make sure that the content works on smartphones as well as PCs, so that as many young people as possible can access it. That is a bit easier now that more young people are back in school, because teachers can help with access to technology in school. Obviously more challenging for some young people at home. What are some of the challenges? So technology challenges, digital skills, and access to devices, you know, data poverty and device poverty are both very real issues. So this is just kind of summarising in a sentence what you'd expect to see as an outcome from employee engagement in schools: the development of personal cultural capital, confidence and self-efficacy, and that leads to increased motivation, academic achievement plans, and higher wages. This was some of our early impact data, and Funbi in just a moment will go through our whole year from the last academic year impact data, but this was just data from a particular campaign's worth of placements. So we ran a campaign called Green Skills Week in the spring, and 99% of the young people that attended placements, so these were placements from a wide range of businesses who were interested in skills relating to the sustainable economy of the future. The top three areas in which young people said they were more confident were knowing which careers pathways were available, knowing their career options, and knowing what employers were looking for. And overwhelmingly, they felt informed or very well informed about careers in the industry or sector. And the placement significantly increased the number of young people considering a career in that sector. And as we said before, we're keen to do much more through the youth card. Some of the learning that we've developed in terms of how to make this work well. we need to continuously prioritize disadvantage, and it's too easy, especially when you're looking to scale and to offer opportunities for as many young people as possible, to kind of take all comers, which we do. So our experience program is open to all schools and all young people. So the school has to sign up to our platform, and once the school has signed up, young people can apply. But we have to keep prioritizing the schools that need us most, and within those schools, the individuals that need us most. It's vital to have a really close relationship with teachers. So we have colleagues now who are full-time education relationship managers who make sure that everything that we're offering is aligned to what schools want and need, and as far as possible that preparation and reflection that the schools can offer before and after a placement is there. In the UK, there's quite a network of partnerships that you need to maintain in order to do this effectively. So apologies for all of those letters. I won't go through them all for a global audience, but a wide range of local partnerships need to be in place. We need to have clear learning outcomes. We've learned a lot about how to make them really engaging and interactive, and about how to ensure that children are safe. There's a huge amount of learning that we've developed over the last year on both of those points. And it's really important that every child has individual feedback on project work that they do as part of their placement, which is developmental for them. And as far as possible, and obviously it's down to the child and the school and the young person, but repeated more than one placement is better. This is just a bit of feedback from young people. It's been incredibly inspiring to speak to young people, especially who have felt a bit lost and a bit isolated during pandemic, to really feel like the opportunity to engage in a work experience placement has meant a lot for them, and has really made them feel like they're still valued, and that they have a voice, and that they have a future. And now I'll pass to Funbi to go through in more detail our whole year impact data.
Right, thanks, Rachael. And yeah, I'll be speaking about the data that's come back from young people that we've worked with, and what they've told us about the work experience they've done. So next slide, please. Right, so this is based on student responses from February 2021 to July, and we had more young people, respond to the pre-placement. So we sent out a survey before young people joined the placements, just to gauge where they were in terms of their skills, and just to know, how they feel. And then after the placement, they also filled another survey, and that is what will be reflected. So it was 143 employers that provided the placements that I'll be talking about. And next slide, please. Okay. Right. So when we asked young people what star rating they would give the placement, 91% of them gave it 4 to 5 stars, which indicated that they really had a great time doing the placements, and yeah, they found it either good or excellent. So we were pleased with that. And the rest, about the 9% that didn't, we look into that and try to make sure that we're working with those employers to ensure that that they do better, really. But I'd say 9 out of 10 young people who would join placement found it either good or excellent. And what other thing we asked them was how confident or nervous they feel about their future possibilities. So we're trying to find out about outcomes, career outcomes, educational outcomes. And prior to the placement, only 47% of the students indicated they were confident or very confident about their career possibilities. However, after attending, that number went up to 78%. So, that was good indicator for us that, students that are joining this placement are gaining something meaningful. They're finding it quite meaningful. And yeah, we were quite happy that, the number that went from not confident or very unconfident went down to, just a little bit. So it's indicating that young people will join in placements. They're finding quite a lot more about their career possibilities and where they might end up. Yeah, next slide, please. Right, and we then ask them further that, okay, if you're feeling more confident, in which areas are you feeling more confident? And the top area that students reported was knowing their career options. And that's because, we tend to try and prioritize disadvantage. So for young people who might be from low income backgrounds, might be like from a migrant community, and they do know where they want to go, but they just don't know how to get there. So they found it quite useful in knowing their career options, because on these placements, we always have a cross range of people from the employers' companies speaking to students, telling them about their experiences, how they got to where they are. So, and the different options available within companies and industries. So students find it quite helpful in knowing their career options. And the second highly rated was knowing what employers are looking for. So not only are they knowing the options available with employers, they also know, they learn more about what employers are looking for in terms of skills, in terms of trends that are coming up in industries, and also about researching careers. So for young people who are trying to progress from post-16 education and trying to, choose their exams, they learn how to research careers and just know what to start preparing for. And yeah, that's the top three really they've rated for the virtual work placements, and now it's helped them. Next slide, please. Yeah. And when we ask students the career routes they'll follow, I think this shows, just like most of the people have discussed in the different OECD countries, it's still overwhelmingly university degree route that students are considering. So despite the government's best efforts, we're still seeing 78% saying they're more likely to go down a university degree route. And yes, and then we've got some still saying they'd like to go into degree apprenticeships, but vocational and technical routes are still, they're not even half as popular as university degree routes. So policymakers still have more work to do over there, and hopefully as more young people learn more about the different career routes into these companies, that will improve. Right, and then one other thing we asked was how well informed do young people feel about the business or the industry sector their placement was with. And from what the feedback we've got, it was quite 88% or 88 point something percent anyway, said they now feel well informed or very well informed, compared to before the placement where it was about 38%. And I think that's the testament to the amount of work employers put into, designing the work placement and just making sure that they are keeping it engaging, as interactive as possible. Because I think one of the advantages of virtual work placement is when young people go into an office, they meet with a certain set of people, whereas when it's virtual, employers that are really prepared get a cross-section of their staff to come into the placement, and they can then tell young people about what they're doing, what the industry looks like, and they just get to meet more people over the week, and they can go into breakout rooms and get more in-depth questions, which also gives young people the confidence to ask more questions, compared to being in an office where they might be overawed, they might not be able to ask questions and just be filing in paper or doing something that doesn't bring them into contact with key stakeholders over the week. Next slide, please. Okay. And so after the placement, we also ask them how confident in the skills do they feel. So when designing the placements, we work with employers to make sure they focus on certain skills. That might be, communication, teamwork, creativity, problem solving. And I think we started with communication and teamwork. So when we were designing this, we asked young people, how they felt about their communication skills before the placement. And, before 65% of them did not feel confident in their speaking skills. And that's one of the things the employers try to work with over the week to make sure that young people, when they come on virtual placement, they don't just turn off the screen and try and, just chat. We try to make sure they're communicating with employers, they're learning about, speaking up and asking questions. And post-placement, when these young people reported back to us, they, majority of them feel confident or very confident about it. Speaking skills, and some of them have even gone on to do television interviews for us where they've discussed how their placement went. So it's been very helpful in terms of boosting young people's speaking skills. And we also asked about teamwork, because this is quite integral to a successful virtual work placement. Most employers will design projects where young people will work in small teams to deliver at the end of the week, and they'll do a nice presentation and speak about what is they've learned throughout the week. And that's one of those skills where young people learn about working together with a online team. And when we asked before the placement, how confident do you feel in your teamwork skills, it was about 30% that said they did not feel confident in their ability to work as part of a team in delivering projects. However, after working as part of a team over the work placement and delivering a project where they got feedback, that went down to 3%. So it was only 3 out of 100 who said they were no longer confident, in delivering your project. And that, it shows how good it is for young people to kind of participate in teamwork as part of their virtual work placement.
We're coming up, great. So we're coming up to the end, 20 minutes.
Yeah, so I think
perfect, spot on.
And as a conclusion, it's just virtual work placement just shows, it's how much more confident, young people are going to be about their future career prospects. Young people, they feel more well-informed about their options, how to research jobs, and it helps in building essential skills. And those are the things that we need to focus on when working with employees to design these programs. And just I think we've got just one more, which is how it goes throughout the week. But any questions, I'll be happy to answer myself and Rachel.